The other thing the Northern Democrats did, and this has become the formula for the Democrats today, is they invented the northern, I call it the northern urban plantation.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is that the Northern Democrats realize we don't have slaves, but we do have poor immigrants.
Yeah.
And some of them don't speak English, they're poor, they're destitute, they're helpless. They're sort of like slaves in that if we can get them, in a sense, under our control, if we can own them, then we will. This time they weren't stealing their labor, but they were stealing their vote.
Now, this explains a lot about why the Democrats allowed over 10 million immigrants, illegal immigrants, to get into the United States. Welcome, everybody. My name is Roland. Welcome to another very exciting edition of Culture War. Yesterday, I promised I was going to do a sequel on Dinesh D'Souza's interview with Jesse Lee Peterson, and here today I'm here to deliver. Today is going to be talking about the Democratic plantation and all their control, all their devices, all their tricks, to create another kind of modern urban day plantation where they bring in so many immigrants into the country illegally and try to legalize them as much as they can, so they can always use them, control them by giving them freebies, giving them visas, giving them all sort of things, and driver's license, giving them a free accommodation, giving them free food stamps, so that they can be controlled and be used politically for votes. Let's get straight into the video. Enjoy. Before we go to the video, please make sure you subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell to get more videos like this. Without further ado, let's get straight into it.
We started White History Month. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
July is White History Month now. We started this year for the first time, and it's just been amazing at the people's response to the idea of White History Month. When you hear me say that, what's the first thing you think and feel about it?
Well, my immediate reaction to it is to sort of chuckle, because of course I think I know why you're doing it. Yeah. And you're doing something that conservatives rarely do, which is you're sort of playing the game of the left in order to take them on. So a lot of times guys on our side, they go, listen, the other side is doing all these evil tactics, right? Our job is not to be like them. So, for example, so you take the Supreme Court. The left goes, whenever they get a court appointee, they ask only one question: is he a good Democratic leftist?
Yes.
Why? Because they're looking for a vote that they can count on 100%. We say, we're looking for a guy who has very good intellectual credentials. We're looking for a guy who loves and respects the Constitution. Yeah. We're looking for somebody who wants to look at the original intentions of the founders, right? So they're picking Democrats, and we're picking on some other bases. Yeah. And as a result, we've had the majority of nominees on the court now since Reagan, right? But we don't have the court. Why not? Because it's like, let's see what Anthony Kennedy is going to do today. Yeah. Hey, we got Kennedy. Whoops, we lost Roberts. So as a result, it's like we are coming to this fight, right? They come heavily armed with armor, bulletproof vests, and so on. And we basically come and say it's a gentleman's quarrel.
I know.
And I think you and I recognize that we have to fight a little differently. Not that we have to be them, but we just have to be a little more aware of what we're up against.
And another reason that I did is because they have so-called Black History Month, Women's History Month, Mexican History Month, Japanese History Month, Homosexual History Month, everybody History Month but white folks. And I said that it was white folk who started this country, who founded this country, who created the Constitution. And anytime you hear about white history or American history, it's in a negative way now. It makes you want to hate the white people rather than appreciate them. And so I started so that we could be reminded of the people who made this possible, how great this country is. And I've noticed that it kind of awakened people. They're shocked, like, yeah, that's right. Because they're afraid, white people are afraid to bring up white history for fear of being called racist. And black people and others don't bring it up because either they don't know it or they hate white people or they don't want to do it. And I'm concerned that if we don't be reminded of the people who made it possible and how great this country is, we're going to lose the country.
Yeah, so a lot of my work in recent years has been aimed at zooming into this very point by telling a little different story of America that happens to be true. I'll give you an example. So the left has been very clever about taking the crimes of America, right, and pushing them on the founding. The founders did it.
Yeah.
Now, you would think if you read most textbooks that the vast system of plantation slavery throughout the American South, 4 million slaves at its peak, this was created by the founding. The truth of it is, in the founding, there weren't a whole lot of plantations.
That's right.
The agriculture in the South was very diversified. It was right around the year 1800 when the cotton gin was invented that cotton became king cotton. Right? So it wasn't until the 1820s that you began to have really a network of plantations throughout the South. And isn't it interesting that in the 1820s, a new political party founded happened to name itself the Democratic Party, that became the champion of the slave plantation and the plantation owners. And this wasn't just the Southern Democrats, the Northern Democrats and the Southern Democrats worked together. Lincoln knew this. So now the left now, because they know it too, they're like, listen, we don't want the blame to fall on the Democratic Party, so let us push it back further.
I saw that. That's
and
amazing.
Let's nail the founders.
Yeah.
It's a big lie. In reality, if you look at all the Southerners in the founding, Jefferson, Madison, Washington, all three of them fierce denouncers of slavery. So you have plantation owners, they have slaves, but they are very ambivalent about slavery. Jefferson actually introduces legislation to end slavery. And so, but once the Democratic Party starts, all that goes away. You try to you show me Democratic Southerners in the 1820s and 30s who want to abolish slavery, they don't exist.
You made that so clear in the movie. I hope that everybody and their mama see this documentary. It needs to be played in all of the public schools and everywhere. I grew up on a plantation down in Alabama. I was born on a plantation outside of Montgomery. And when I hear and I grew up under the Jim Crow laws, right? But when I hear the history of that, it's nothing like what really happened. They present it in a way that is all lies, it makes you angry, and it wasn't like that. It wasn't even the mentality of black people. Black people in those days, they knew that all white people were not against them. They taught us that there's good and evil in all people, and that the Jim Crow law was a government law created by the Democratic Party because most black people in those days were Republicans and they were not Democrats. And so they didn't teach us that all white people was for the Jim Crow law. But when you hear it coming from the left, it seemed as though all white people were bad and all black people were just suffering. That they were being hanged by the KKK, and none of that is true. It's just so made up.
So this is what I call the big lie. And the big lie is actually a term invented by Hitler. And Hitler basically says big lies are easier to sell than small lies. And the Democrats have really pushed this big lie.
Yes.
But it's when Lincoln, named the three, Lincoln named the four horsemen of the apocalypse, the four bad guys of slavery, right? And he named them. Three of them were Northern Democrats. And I say this because the left has done so much to blame the South that we forget the role of the Northern Democrats. So Franklin Pierce, the former president, is from New Hampshire. Buchanan, the sitting president at that time, from Pennsylvania. And Stephen Douglas, Lincoln's great antagonist, from Illinois. So these are Northern Democrats conspiring with the Southern Democrats to protect slavery. So, my movies are partly historical, but then they also bring you to the present.
I thought you did a good job on that, showing the Southern Democrats and the Northern Democrat and the commonality that they have. I kind of heard about the Northern ones and that they put the blacks in the projects and stuff like that, but you made it so clear in the movie, and I really appreciate that. It really stood out.
The other thing the Northern Democrats did, and this has become the formula for the Democrats today, is they invented the Northern, I call it the Northern urban plantation. And what I mean by that is that the Northern Democrats realize we don't have slaves, but we do have poor immigrants. And some of them don't speak English, they're poor, they're destitute, they're helpless. They're sort of like slaves in that if we can get them, in a sense, under our control, if we can own them, then we will. This time they weren't stealing their labor, but they were stealing their vote.
It's a must-see documentary.
Wow, what an eye-opening interview. The documentary that we'll be talking about here is called The Death of a Nation. So try and search that one out, Google it out, something, and get it and watch it. Very interesting movie. This interview was Fantastic. I learned a lot. I hope you did learn a lot. I hope you enjoyed the video. You spoke about so many things, and about the way the Democrats, they're very controlling, but they come out seeming like your friend. But these guys, they are very manipulative, very good with oratory. They're very good with rhetorics, and they're professionals, and they use that to great effects. While the Republicans were a little bit too honest, and that's why we need to start, upping our rhetorics and trying to compete with them a little bit. Thank God for people like Jesse Lee Peterson, who is standing up for the right thing, and we're trying to use our channel here, Culture War, to contribute our own little quota to fighting this culture war. And this, because it's a big war. We may think it's just a Democrats and Republican war. It's way more than that. It's way more than that, guys. Thank you for watching. I think I'm still going to do a part 3 of this, because there's still more stuff to be revealed. I'll do a part 3 of this video, so if you want to watch this, you need to look out for the video all right in the next. So make sure you subscribe, so you can always get the third video I'm going to be dropping concerning on this particular to get different messaging from them. So thank you for watching. My name is Roland. God bless you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.